When I was a child and later a teenager, one of my favorite places to go to and patronize in my community was the bowling alley. Now, on page 288 in our book, we learned about the 5 different functions of the community. So to go over these different functions, I want to use the bowling alley as an example. Now, the first function that we learn is production, distribution, and consumption. So, did the bowling alley produce anything? Of course. It produced the alley itself, but it also produced the lanes, the bowling balls, the bowling shoes. And there was distribution in the sense that it distributed the shoes, the bowling balls, at least temporarily. We couldn't take the bowling balls home with us, nor the bowling shoes. And plus, there was also a snack bar, so there was always someone to distribute food and drink. As far as consumption goes, yes, we consumed the food, but we also consumed the lanes in the sense that we used the lanes, we used the bowling balls and the shoes. So the bowling alley definitely fulfilled that particular function. Now, socialization. The function of socialization in the community involves the process in which the social units transmit knowledge, values, and behavioral patterns to the individual members. So, what knowledge was transmitted? Well, occasionally there were people who worked at the bowling alley to help us learn how to bowl. So that is how knowledge was transmitted, and also certain values. Important values such as sharing the bowling lanes equitably among everybody, making sure that the bowling shoes and bowling balls stay in the bowling alley. When you are finished using a bowling lane, be sure to evacuate so that other patrons could use the bowling lanes. So that's socialization. Social control, the process through which a group influences the behavior of the group to conform to the social norms, is one of the functions of the community. Now, in this case, the bowling alley did satisfy social control, but it wasn't so much the bowling alley itself as it was my team. Now, I played on a team. We were an okay team. We weren't the best team, nor were we the worst team. But there were times in which my teammates had to exhibit social control whenever I misbehaved. I went through a time where I was a horrible bowler. So because I was a horrible bowler, I would try to make myself look better by cheering every time my teammates rolled a gutter ball, and I would boo whenever my teammates threw a strike. And of course, my teammates didn't like that. They didn't like how I was cheering the gutter balls and booing the strikes. So they would tell me, Mark, you gotta, stop doing that. We're a team. If you keep acting like that, we're gonna throw you right off the team. And of course, at that point, I was definitely in line. Social participation. The foundation of the community that involves social participation is often found through religious and educational organizations. Companionship and friendship. All right. Now, I eventually made some pretty friendly acquaintances, to the point where whenever we would meet each other for a game, before we would start playing, we would chat. And during the game, we would chat. And then after the game, we would chat. So due to the opportunity for chatting, we were able to put social participation into practice. Then the last function is mutual support. The community empowers members to cooperate to accomplish a task. When a task is too hard for one person to accomplish alone, numerous people can more readily complete the goal. Now, we know how it's impossible to own or run a bowling alley by yourself, right? Many people are needed. People at the desk are needed. Custodial staff are needed. People to work the concession stand are needed. People are needed to maintain the cleanliness of the bowling alley and the electricity and the functionability of the lanes. So all of that was definitely necessary. So that is how the bowling alley exhibited mutual support. Okay, so now here is part one of today's ICA. I want you to think of a place where, as a child, in the community you used to go to. I used to go to the bowling alley. So I need you to name a place in the community where you went as a child or a teenager. And of the 5 functions of the community, I want you to explain how any 3 of the community functions were put into practice at this place in the community you used to go to. Okay? So that's part one. Name a place where you went to as a child or a teenager in the community and explain how any 3 of the 5 functions of the community were put into practice.